Okay, hey there guys. So in this video we're just going to be going over the mutant class in the same way I kind of went over the skill class, just kind of like a top 6 with some honorable mentions of just how I view the champions. And I kind of wanted to incorporate, right, the same thing of how the class is meant to kind of act in the game. Mutants are based around special attacks a lot, right, Namor, Mags, Havok, stuff like that. So they're based around that. They also have a fair bit of stuff like damage over time and stuff like that, but the biggest part of their damage and utility comes from special attacks, so it's important they aren't power controlled off. Attack damage has special attack damage and utilities on specials have always been their strong suit, and champions that nodes that they get power drained, they've typically been weak against because you can't use specials, you can't get your damage going. Right, like Namor, you need to use your SP3. So, at the top of my list for mutants, I kind of view it in like, it's kind of like both of the top two are one champion. I think they work so well together that if you pair them in the same team, you could probably bring them into like 90% of quests and be fine. You could bring them into like 90% of your wars, you'd probably be fine. As long as you're not taking anything that like is very specifically against them. They're just both such good universally good champions and so strong that they're just absolutely busted, which are Archangel and Magneto. A lot of people will argue for like either being top 1 in the mutant class, which mutant is arguably the strongest class in the game. If you saw on that list, there's a lot more mutants that I was like that constantly came to my mind than other classes. There's just so many mutants in this game that are very, very strong. So when you're looking at mutants, right, Archangel for me is probably the best mutant, but that's again because he's a little bit different of a mutant. He does not need specials at all. In fact, like his specials are just, they're good, they help, but they are not needed whatsoever for his kit. It's just about parrying and heavying. That's his most efficient rotation for a reason. Right, at SIG level 200, you have minus 40% ability accuracy for every neurotoxin on them. His weakness has always been if they can't bleed. If they can't bleed, you're done. Terrible matchup, go home. If they can't be poisoned, he's doable, but it's not great. But it's okay, right? You still have a fair bit of damage, but not something you're going to use him for. And you can use him against stun immune matchups. It's not his best work, but it's still very doable, just intercept and heavy counter and stuff like that. So, right, pretty simple kit overall. You launch heavies and you parry. So, his weakness is always if they're bleed immune, which most metal champions are, which a lot of bleed immune champions happen to be metal as well, and most metal champions are bleed immune. Not all, there's a fair few who aren't, but there's a lot who are. So when you can't use AA, or against like the tech class, you know, a lot of the techs are bleed immune, bleed resistant and stuff, or then you just bring out Magneto, his entire kit is based around basically covering Archangel's weakness. If they can't be bled and they're metal, you can do like 500,000 damage in 12 hits, which it's one of the highest damage like ramp ups in the game for that type of damage. So he's okay, you know. So if they can't be bled, or if they're metal and they're like poison immune or bleed immune, then you just swap over to Magneto, and then you have a lot of other spots. So that's why when I think of the mutant class, I kind of think as them as like a duo that like they just cover the other's weakness, you know? Right, you just build up to SP3, launch it. I was talking to one person, they thought his best special attack was SP2. I was telling him, no, try the SP3, and he saw the light. So yeah, Magneto I feel like just pairs really well next to Archangel, which is why I have them both ranked 5 on my 5 stars. So then next, I put a champion I don't think I even have as like any star level, which is Kitty Pryde. So Kitty Pryde is very new, but absolutely monstrous. The way I look at it is she's almost so good that she looks bad. She's at the point of being good where I feel like people are trying to compare her next to like Ghost, Quake, Doom, and something like that just completely breaks the game. And Kitty Pryde really does change the way the game works. dash in, and if you're duped, Sig 1 is all that matters, no damage from any source while you're phased. And phasing is as simple as dashing in. Every dash in, if you have more than 3 prowess, you phase. If you're duped, you take no damage from damage back sources like Electro, Korg's Thorns, Bleed nodes, any type of damaging debuff, damaging effect, nothing. Dash in, tank an SP3, why not? While you're at it, gain 250% power. You basically just gain an SP3 from a single SP3 at that point. Like, it's insane. She has Incinerate immunity, but even if she didn't, you just dash in and you're not taking damage. They didn't make the same mistake that they made with Ghost, with shrugging the debuffs to turn into more damage. I think Kitty Pryde's biggest weakness is her reliance on specials. She's a very mutant champion, right? Archangel kind of breaks the mold of a mutant of not using specials, and Mags is tied to his special, but he has such easy access. He gains his power quickly, and you just have to use a single special that it's fine. Kitty Pryde needs a fair few specials, and you need to get up to your SP2 and stuff. And if there's power control in the fight against you, like Plagued Mind Node, you're going to lose a lot of your damage. So that is an issue, but again, her base damage isn't the worst in the game. It's not the best, but the ability to take no damage and to phase intercepts and be unblockable and stuff, it's a lot. Her synergies are, she has like the one that's obviously just insane, which is the while stunning or while phasing, if you have 10 in prowess, you become unblockable. Unblockable is always a handy trick to have. You're stun immune. Kitty Pryde just has a lot going for her. I feel like some people, she might end up in one of those boats where people end up underrating her, because at the very start people tried to make her out to be #1 champion in the game, which she's just not right now. She's very, very good. She's probably up there, but she's not #1. So as long as you don't like try to put her in that type of spot, I think you're fine. So next I have Omega Red, which another one of those, he kind of breaks the mold of his class. His damage comes from using suicides and being close to the opponent, not trying to build your power quickly. That's one of the reasons why he's such a good war champion. He kind of lost his place in like normal content, but AQ and AW, people use him because you don't hit them much. Like, you just like stay next to them, parry, hit their block, and you just do so much damage very quickly, especially if you're running suicides and you have like a couple boosts, or actually not boosts, you have suicides, you have like Sig 200, you just pump out damage super fast in the fight, and you just stand next to them so you don't even have to hit them. His medium attacks have so much utility packed in that people don't always think about. A node like One Eye Open, if you stun them and hit them with the medium, it makes it so you don't reflect any damage. So there's a lot of utility like that with his mediums. He's a very solid champion. He's not a champion that I personally liked too much or use, but that's more of a me issue. It's because I don't have suicides. It's as simple as that. He's an amazing champion, but he's just not quite right for me because I don't use suicides often. Or at all, because I don't have them unlocked. So, an absolutely insane champion. If you saw, my next one is actually a champion I have rank 3, is Apocalypse. Now, that month for mutants was really good, because if he just had his synergies and Horseman, he would easily be one of the more impactful mutants in the game, just because of all these synergies, right? Like, he makes Cable potentially top 10 type of mutant with just his damage. Storm, insane damage. Storm X, crazy damage. Gambit, insane utility. Wolverine, insane sustain. Horseman AA is an absolute monster if you've never seen one. People don't think it matters because they're like, oh, it's a prowess, but you gain extra ability accuracy with Horseman, so you're really doing so much more. And just that would make him a lot, and the Horseman ability itself. But then on the top of it, that he's a very, very competent champion on his own, right? Like, I put him in this type of spot on the list for a reason, right? He can go stun immune, he can stun you through a block, he has... Actually, he doesn't gain too much at 1 or 2. He has his specials hit super hard. If you fully ramp him up, there's not many places to do that in this game, but if you do fully ramp him up, he does over 1,000 a tick with his damage over times from poison, degen. It ticks super hard. You have the bleeds, you have so much utility with damage, base hits, damage over time. ability accuracy reduction, weaknesses. This man is just a utility monster for what he can put out. Massive amounts of debuffs, weird debuffs. He's immune to incinerate, bleed, and disorient. Disorient's a nice immunity. And kind of like the first two, I almost view these second two as kind of in a similar spot where they both rely on their specials a lot. They came out the same month, these two actually did, and they both buff up the mutant class a ton. Professor X just gives everyone 100% special attack damage, which if you've seen how much it can do, it's pretty wild. And then again, his synergies are all super insane for the class. Not necessarily all of them are like the best, but right, like extra prowess, you have like a cheat death. He just offers a lot. And then people started to figure out how to play him with getting double prowess and stuff, and so his specials obviously hit super hard, especially his SP2. His SP2 has the secondary damage, which makes it do even more damage. It crits for massive amounts. And if you've never seen Professor X cheese with a mutant power back boost against something like the champion with his special attack 3, it's absolutely silly. So Professor X is an insane champion. He can't be missed or evaded unless they're tech. He has a miss of his own, which is really fun to play around with in unique ways. You have tons of prowess, so you have lots of buffs. His specials hit super hard. You have a power control. Like, he just goes absolutely ham in so many fights. So he's a very, very good champion. So now these next ones are just kind of all like honorable mention type of champions, I guess I would say. So, Namor. Top 5 prestige. Simple. Like, even if it was just that, he's already worth ranking up for a lot of players. His base kit is fine. He pushes out damage like a monster. Just that SP3 Fury is over. It's almost triple his base attack, right? It's just under 4K, and that's 1400. So it's almost triple his damage from a single special 3, and you can get 3 of those Furies off. Not easy, but you can get 2 very easily. His special attacks, with his Imperious charges, hit super hard. They're basically each a mini prowess. He has regen, which they nerfed a little bit, but it's fine. And then his Sig, 100% damage back. Go to fight like a Korg or Electro, all the damage is reflected. You can even cheese certain special attacks, like Thing's special attack 2. You take it to the face, but you run in at the right time and it reflects the damage. A personal favorite champion. Oh, wrong button there, my bad. A personal champion that I just really, really enjoy for a lot of different reasons is Colossus, as I have the rank 5. I've had him for a while. He's Sig 200. Some people joke that he needs a full 5 team. He just needs Omega Red. Just Omega Red is more than enough. And if Omega Red's not a bad synergy champ to bring. Colossus has a ton of buffs, a ton of damage, and a ton of tankiness. Who else? I think I have... Oh yeah, I have Havok. Havok is a champ I really like and I want to rank 5, but I've just never had like a reason to. You know, he has those non-contact hits, he has passive power gain, super hard-hitting SP3, he has the damage over time, he has the plasma detonations, a lot of utility. Suida has some insane videos with him against fights that people don't think he should be able to take. Sabertooth, I just recently ran the Sabertooth, or I guess the O Canada Karina's Challenge with Sassy and stuff, and Sabertooth is a monster. At rank 5, he puts out 3000 bleed damage a second off of his special 1. Yeah, at fully ramped up. At the 30 Furies, they were ticking for 500 times 3, and it's 2 ticks a second, so it's 1000 a tick, or it's 1000 a second per bleed times 3, 3000 damage a second from a rank 5 4-star. And then his synergies make him pretty customizable, so he's better than I thought he was, but he's still just, you need the synergies, you need ramp up, so it's a bit annoying. Mutant, if you can't tell by just looking at this Mutant class, I'm just going to go to 6 stars because it's easy. Mutant has always been Kabam's like favorite class, it seems. Because like, look at how many just insane champions there are. Like Omega Red, Namor, right? This is like a top 6, but I ended up putting 4 in honorable mentions. That doesn't mean that's where I'd like rank them in the class. Those are just champions I wanted to bring up. But scrolling through champs I don't have, you still have stuff like Strife, Sunspot, Jubilee, who's, she's okay. Gambit, Bishop buffs were good. Domino, right? Like, you just have tons of champions. So Mutant's a really hard class to make rank up choices in, because tier 4 CC, even tier 5 CC, is always a bit of a struggle, right? Like, I have 0. Actually, I have a lot of tier 4 CC right now, so I need to rank someone up. Probably be Namor or something. But, right, like, Mutant has always been a super hard class to, like, judge, because some champions that should be insane in this class just look awful because you have stuff like Apocalypse, you have stuff like Archangel. So that'll kind of do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to try to get out like 1 to 2 more videos tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope to see you guys soon. And again, sorry about the last video, the skill ranking. It was not my best one. I was just getting frustrated and I just posted it. I should have put a bit more effort into it. I'm sorry. See you guys soon.